Yesterday I moved into my brand new plant room. I'm so incredibly excited about it. I absolutely love it. It's gonna be epic for my plants. But over the past few days of like packing and unpacking my plants, I had the opportunity to spend like one-on-one time with them individually. I know that sounds like so corny, like they're my kids or something, but I just haven't done that in so long. And there were so many plants that as I was packing and unpacking, I was like, oh my gosh, I love this plant. And I thought I'd just share a video of some plants that I just love right now. I don't know how many there are gonna be. I'm just gonna like, as I'm sitting here, look around and like grab some that I just love right now. And also these plants handled the stress of the last year really well. I had to get rid of a ton of plants. I don't know how many, but my collections really dwindled down just as a result of like, they couldn't handle all the stress I put them through. Unintentionally. I moved from like North Carolina to Michigan. I had an office where I couldn't hang my like really good grow lights. I've been dealing with supplemental stuff. There's just a bunch of reasons why. But in my new space, I'll be able to give them all the TLC and do lots of cool videos. I'm ecstatic. So if you like planty stuff, feel free to subscribe so episodes show up in your newsfeed. And we also have a great community on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Again, not in any particular order. This is the first plant I grabbed, but it's a Philodendron Gloriosum. I paid $300 for this plant a few years ago, and now you can find them for $20 from a big box shop. And I'm so happy that this plant is doing well. It almost died on me, and I repotted it, and it's just made a comeback. Like, it's so happy, so not fussy. It is a crawler, so instead of growing up, it crawls like under the soil or just above the soil. So it helps to have either like a rectangular shaped pot or a big round pot. Like this one's about to have to be repotted again, and it's in a really big pot. But this plant just is not fussy, and it's so beautiful. The leaves are velvety. Big Philodendron Gloriosum fan. I just love it. It just makes me, I saw this plant, every time I look at it, it's like a relief from all of my plants that are struggling. So let's grab another. A silver dollar vine. I love this plant. I think it's so neat, and it grows really well. I wasn't expecting that because it's very succulent-y, but it's called a silver dollar vine because it has leaves that look like silver dollars. They're kind of a mix between like, I don't know, Peperomia, Hoya, succulent, just very thick succulent-y leaves. I water this, like I drench it when the soil gets dry, and it's just so happy. It doesn't cause me any issues, and I just love the way it looks. Like, big fan of this plant. This is a Philodendron Gloriosum aurea, and the Gloriosum, I'm sure I'm saying the name incorrectly, but it just has really cool leaves when they get to the adult form. And this plant has given me no issues, and it's growing really well. It desperately needs to be repotted. That's one of the things I'm going to be able to do a lot more in this room is like repot all my plants. I'm just going to be going crazy on all my plants this year. Just really doing a lot of care videos as I go through with each individual plant, repotting, chopping, propping, whatever I need to do, because my plants are just really, like, this isn't the original pot that I got it in. I spent $45 on this plant, it looks like, originally. Yeah, the aurea it's an uncommon, it's a rare plant for the Gloriosum, but I just love those lime green leaves. And there were so many of these types of plants that came out last year or this year that just have this like really lime green color that I absolutely love. Big fan of this plant. This is another one that you can get at big box shops that I paid a lot of money for, and it's the Philodendron Beti. This plant is so cool. It's not fussy at all, and it desperately needs to be repotted, but it just is hanging in there. No matter what, it's like, okay, I'm just gonna be happy and beautiful. I love the long leaves. I love the orange stems. It grows really well, really fast, and I just love this plant right now. It's the best. This one's called a Euphoria snowflake, and when I first got it, it just had the one plant, and look how many pups it's put out. It is such a happy guy. I love all of the new pups around here. It's handled the move just brilliantly. I mean, cacti and Euphoria are generally really easy care anyways, but I just love this guy. It makes me so happy, and it's called a Euphoria snowflake because it has like white on the cactus, and When I got this plant a few years ago, you never found it anywhere, but now I've actually seen it at the big box shops a few times. Look how huge this plant has gotten. It's a Calkins Gold, I believe, and I got it for 20 bucks from Lowe's or Home Depot, and it is absolutely massive, absolutely beautiful. Like, it was a tiny little baby plant when I got it, and boy oh boy, this plant grows really fast and the leaves get huge. But I mean, it's like so unproblematic. I'm just absolutely love it. So pretty. And the leaves do have a little bit of variegation. It's similar to Painted Lady, but it's more green. Painted Lady has pink on it. This is another euphorbia. It's Euphoria Latia. And I'm a huge fan of these ghost cactus. They were all the rage. You couldn't get your hands on them a long time ago. And I just don't see them around that much or talked about that often. But I am such a big fan. And these are really cool because they don't have the same type of way of developing chlorophyll that other plants do because they're white. Yeah, Euphoria Latia, or also known as the ghost cactus. Mine has grown so much since I got it. All of these guys, you want to water them when they dry out and give them a good drink. But yeah, amazing. I love this one. I want it to get massive. But it just made me happy as I was moving and looking at all my cacti and succulents and stuff and all my plants. This one's growing a little weird, but I'm like weirdly into it. It's a type of angel wing begonia and it's called Harmony's Quasimodo. It's a really uncommon type of begonia and the shape of the leaves are absolutely beautiful. And the leaves get humongous. You just don't see angel wing begonias with this type of shape. Put my hand so you can kind of see the shape of the leaves. It has these little points on there which are really, really unusual. And then at the top too, it has this really cool point to it. And then they have the silver on the ends of the leaves, which you get with the Harmony begonia plants, or begonias that you just don't get with a lot of other ones. And it's grown so much. I don't know how this plant has grown well. I have like no humidity. It hasn't received a ton of light other than some like kind of meh grow lights, but it's awesome. I love it. Oh, this one's a good one. I love this one. This is a Peperomia Beetle, and I love this Peperomia. It is so easy compared to other Peperomias. You'd almost think it was a Hoya or something, or a Dischidia, but it's a Peperomia, and it's called Beetle because the leaves look like little beetles. It grows like a weed. It's so happy all the time, doesn't need anything. I just stick it on the shelf and water it, give it a good drink whenever it's thirsty. Definitely loving this plant. I've been dealing with a lot of mealybugs, so you might see some on here. Yeah, I see some. I'm treating it with systemic granules. That's the only way for me to really handle a huge infestation like I had. But I love this Hoya Sunrise. It's doing okay. She's put out a lot of peduncles and blooms and stuff, which is lovely to see. And she's definitely recovering from the mealybugs. But every time I see this plant, it makes me happy. I love that the places where it gets a lot of light, it turns the color of a sunrise. I just love this Hoya so much. And I love the contrast of the pink with the lime green. It's absolutely beautiful. Oh. Another Hoya I'm super into are the Obavatas. I think they're crazy underrated. First of all, their leaves are so perfectly round. I am obsessed with that. And this plant is just so happy, so healthy at all times. I love it so much. Look at its little leaves. They're so pretty and big. And like, I love the little speckles on them. What's that, splash? Yeah. I don't think I bought this one as a Obavata splash, but a lot of Hoyas will have some sort of splash on there. This is fun. I'm having a good time with this video. Oh yes, I have to show this one. Okay, I have to show this one too. This is my variegated goldfish plant. You just don't see the variegated ones around that often. Goldfish plants are great because they put out blooms that have like they look like little orange goldfish, and they are the shape of goldfish. But I found a variegated one and it has grown like crazy. And when I tell you this plant had like literally no light for the last 6 months and still grew like crazy, I mean, I don't know. It's just an amazing plant. And I like the pot. I've thrifted this pot, but it hasn't bloomed or anything yet, probably because it hasn't had enough light, but it is Just such a neat plant. Let me get the leaves up close so you can kind of see what they look like. Very petite, very cute, succulent-y. I'd love for this plant to bloom. So once I get some grow lights in here, my big, beautiful Soltech grow lights, they're just gonna hopefully thrive. A little fertilizer during the growing months next year. I'm so ecstatic. Just started snowing here. I'm looking out the window. I have big windows. I'm so excited. This is another one I love. It's a Jose Bono. Get you a Jose Bono. They're so easy. And I love the variegation. Well, you know, this one needs more light. The variegation in general isn't meant to be bright white. It is just like a lighter green or a cream color. This one's grown like crazy. It can handle periods of drought. There's tons of little plants in the pot. It's a really great philodendron. Gives me no trouble other than falling over because I don't have a cover pot on it. But yeah. You all know I love my variegated African violets. I'm just down to one at this point, but this one is just never been happier. It's a variegated purple African violet. You can see some of the old blooms I need to prune off. This one's called a Buckeye Country Gal, and it's from the Harmony Begonia company. And it's amazing. For me, it's about the leaves. Like, look how beautiful those leaves are. They're purple underneath, the stems are purple, the blooms are purple, and it's in a self-watering pot. So it literally has changed my life. So I'm gonna be buying up all the variegated African violets I can find and putting them in self-watering pots. But what I do is, there's a little line in there, and you just fill it up to the line, and you can see, oh my gosh, look at the roots coming out of there. But this plant grows like crazy. There were so many mealybugs on the vines that it was putting out that I did kind of trim them back. But in the future I won't be doing that because that's where they put out their peduncles and their new leaves. But I also didn't want this Hoya to get absolutely massive in the old spot. But yeah, this plant is so beautiful. I love this Hoya. A great grower. Just look at those leaves. It has the coolest texture on the outside of the leaves. I mean, I just love it. It's amazing. Here's another cutie. It's my Hoya Bella, and it is adorable. You know what? This plant actually was struggling. I think it had too much light, so I moved it into an area where it wasn't getting as much light, and it is putting out so many leaves. If you notice that your leaves in general on your plants are really washed out, like they're like a really pale green, they're not growing, they're struggling, and they're not supposed to have that light green color, it probably means they're getting too much light. So that was just, you know, you think Hoyas, they can't get too much light, but this one was not feeling it. So it's grown so much, and it was so nice to see how well it's done after all of these months. This is a Philodendron Chocolate Empress, and it is so healthy and amazing. I mean, all of the Jungle Boogie, Ring of Fire, Golden Crocodile, for me, I mean, everybody has different experiences with plants, but they all are so great and easy for me. And then this one's no different. The leaves are a little bit fatter, like wider than the other ones, and just like this beautiful chocolatey brown color. But if you can get your hands on this plant, I definitely recommend it. It's amazing. This is a Philodendron Silver Stripe. It's a lot like a Philodendron Brazil, but it has a little bit differently shaped leaves and different variegation, and it is the best. I love this plant so much. It's just like, you know, the Peperomia or the pothos or the heartleaf philodendrons. It's a little bit more uncommon, but you can find them around. I found this huge one at a Pike's Nursery in Charlotte for $30, $29, which was a great find, and it's just grown a lot since I've had it, and it's handled the stress really well. I'm a big fan. Makes me happy. This beautiful philodendron has really been through it. It's a Philodendron Splendid, and it is gorgeous. Now, Philodendron Splendid is a hybrid, and I'll have to look and see. I think it's melanochrysum and something else, but it's just so much easier than the melanochrysum, and the leaves get humongous. These are still little baby leaves, and you can see how much of no leaves, and it used to have leaves that have dropped off, and then all of a sudden it put out all this new growth. So what I'm gonna do is chop and prop, or air layer, one or the other, but I'm gonna just probably chop it here, stick it in some water, let it grow some roots, because that's a little bit easier. And then what I'm going to do is just like chop all these nodes and stick them in a prop box with sphagnum moss. And then once the part I've propagated has roots and all of the little nodes, I'm going to stick it in some soil and just let it turn into a big, beautiful, bushy plant. Try to give it something to climb because it is really, really gorgeous and it deserves some TLC. I'm so excited. Yeah, it grows fast. These philodendrons all grow really fast. Look, I did provide a little support pole and then it's just like outgrown it by so much. So it's hard to keep up with it all. But I'm really excited about this one this year. Another one that has been surprisingly awesome is the Rat Cactus. This is an Epiphyllum angulaire. Anyways, it's one of those cactus varieties and it's amazing. Or one of the Epiphyllum varieties. I love the shape of the leaves and I'm a big fan of it. I was like, oh my gosh, he's just thriving, putting out tons of new growth. The new growth is weird looking though. Look at the new growth. It's like so skinny and tiny. I imagine because it's been needing more light, which it will get this year. So those are just a few of the ones that really made me smile as I was packing and unpacking. There are a lot more, but you know, for the sake of this video not being an hour long, those are the ones I think I'll share today. But thank you so much for all of your support over this past year. You all are absolutely amazing. I'm very, very excited about this new year. If there's certain types of content you'd like to see more of, any ideas that you have, just feel free to leave it in the comments. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day and that I get to see you soon. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this in your newsfeed. And we have a great community, like I said, on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. All right, bye.